In this Assassin's Creed Shadow video, I look to gain perspective for myself and others while sharing information about the game. And there's so much talk about this game without even talking about the actual game and discussing what we're getting. And I just want to take a moment to just look at that first and take a moment to actually say, what is this game? And then from there, we can get into the topic about controversy and a whole lot of other things when it comes to this game. So, as you can see, if you don't know by now, this is set in Japan. And yes, the samurai are here. So, this is somewhat of a historical, of course, fiction. Every Assassin's Creed game is fiction, it's not a documentary. But you're set in the samurai era. And I love that a lot. Very amazing in the 1575 era and 1580s as well. And of course, this is going to be samurais, but there's assassins and Templars, which is the theme of every Assassin's Creed game. Now, who's who and what's what? It's interesting. You have two main characters. On the main male character, Yatsuke, and then Naue. And so these two guys are totally different. As a matter of fact, one's a boy, one's a girl, and one is a foreigner. Yatsuke, legendary storyline about him, who happened to be a samurai. So that's already a big story plot of him sitting here in Japan dealing with the different culture, the different beliefs, the different traditions. If you ever traveled and got to see the world, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's special to go into different countries and kind of learn and see and get mind blown because you're so used to your own ways. And he is going to be a samurai within this game. At least his combat and everything that he's wearing. And he did serve the feudal lord of Japan of that time. So it's going to be interesting to see how that ties in to the Assassin's Creed or the Templars, who's who. There's always betrayals and things like that. But I love it. And I just want to take a moment before we continue to talk about some of this introduction is you're watching a very full world, very full city slash village. There's a lot of great people here. They're bowing down specifically to you because you are a samurai, and they'll show respect to you for that. If you were playing the other character, Nawe, she won't get the same treatment. And so it's actually very interesting in itself, just the city and the reactions of each of the characters. So that makes it even another layer on top of whatever storyline they may have. They'll have that difference as well. And so that's super cool. And I love that. I think it's interesting and it's tough because you say, oh, I want to play as this character. I love this character better. Well, you can. They said most of the game you're able to play as one or the other. There's only a few missions that are stuck to that specific character in the game. So I love that. And I'm just interested in what they're trying to do here when it comes to the story because it can go any which way on how it all plays out. So I'm excited to kind of dive into what it could be, you know? And again, if you look through the footage that we just were watching, the city slash village was packed with people and they were reactive to you. They had their own things going on and it made it feel good. Of course, this is a gameplay demo from the studio, so you can never say that's exactly what every area is going to be like. But this specific area is, if we're just basing everything off of what's evidence, what's factual, looks spectacular. So just take your time and look through it as you see, you know, these guards, for example, they do not like you. And so they're going to tell you to get out of here and talk to you a certain way. And you can intervene in situations like the one we just saw, which I think is important for an open world game. Linear games, I can care less about having this type of thing as long as we have good dynamics within in it. But this one right here, very special. And there's a lot of stuff when it comes to the world being dynamic and the seasons as well, which I'm going to get into shortly. But I do want to dive into the combat just a little here. We're going to go back and forth about combat, but as you can see, Yatsuke is a samurai, so he's going to play extremely combat based. And so he has two weapons and they're really good. And the reason I want to stress this is because you get to see both, and he's very slow and deliberate with the attacks that he's doing at the moment. And I love how the fruits fell to the floor, smashing the guy, and you're breaking their armor when you're doing good attacks, good. And I love that. I think that is showcasing amazing stuff. As you can see, he smashes the guy's head. I mean, this is brutal, by the way. But the principle, for me, if I saw this game, I didn't care if it said Assassin's Creed on it. I would say, yeah, I got to play this. There's no way somebody who likes video games would say, man, I don't want to play this. If you don't like action RPG, just from the combat alone is more than enough reason. I've seen people like games with less. But this one has a lot to offer. And I think it's ridiculous. And I'm going to get to this a little later, but I think it's ridiculous that people try to act like this game doesn't look great for what it has. And we'll get into that topic a little later. I know why. So make sure you don't just leave a comment because you're going to miss out on what I mean in a minute. But yeah, so then you got the switch up. He pulls out the katana and you got to see more fast slicing and dicing, but he's still very powerful. He lifts the guy up and takes him out. This is brutal Assassin's Creed at its finest. Probably going to be the most brutal Assassin's Creed I've ever seen. And I played all of them, guys. But yeah, so this combat is incredible. And I love it. And I think that we are in for a treat when it comes to the action RPG elements of this game. When you're playing both characters, which I'll showcase the other character in a minute. But those are just some things I wanted to point out and kind of give you a preview of and help you understand what it means to play this game. And what I wanted to talk about too is this very dynamic feature where you can switch back and forth to the characters throughout the game. Most of the story and open world can be switched back and forth. And for me, I feel like I'm going to play this game twice. I don't think I've played every Assassin's Creed twice. I've played every Assassin's Creed. I'm talking, man, even the lesser spin-offs. But this one, I think I'll end up replaying twice because at the moment I'm conflicted. I want to play as Nawe because she's stealthy and that's how I like to play video games if it's an option. But I love action RPG games as well. And Yatsuke is so cool that I feel like a full run with him just to see how the game plays out. That's just my initial feelings. The reason I bring this up is because we're seeing the mechanic of them be talking to each other. Hey, man, you want me to go in or you want to go in? So they're working on together on a mission and they're trying to figure some things out. And I'm sure that they're probably fighting against the Templars together. And there's going to be a big reveal and all that stuff. But the story dynamics feel interesting. Why would this black samurai work with a ninja? Right? Shinobi, ninja. I always say ninja, but you know what I mean. And that's the question that I leave with this quick little cutscene that they showed is like, okay, what's the bigger reveals in the story? How does this all play out within the universe of the Templars and Assassins? And this makes me truly invested. And now we're going to get into my favorite and absolute favorite. The fact that there's a grapple that's actually physics-based. You can see right here. They said that you're going to be falling all over the place if you don't know how to use it properly. She assassinates somebody there, really good skills. I'm just going to let you be skillful, in my opinion, if that's how that grapple works. And then they have proning. which allows you to get through certain areas. You're sneaking in smaller grass, things like that that are spectacular and could be fun because I play games like Metal Gear, which have proning. And on top of it, this to me, probably one of my favorite parts. And the game is called Shadows, I think, for this very reason, where you're using the shadow to assassinate people. Think that to me is so good. I want to replay that just to talk about it. Think about the whole game and being able to just use the darkness to your advantage every single time. And this is a stealth mechanic, guys. I can't even begin to tell you how cool that is. And then this is just badass. This has nothing to do with like, oh, a good stealth mechanic. Being able to grapple somebody from that far and then assassinate them, to me, that's spectacular. And of course, you'll probably want to lock that right away. But everything that they showcase here, stealth wise, I can play the whole game just doing this. And then I can run it back with Yatsuke. So I'm excited about that. I think it's interesting. There's a lot of cool dynamics with each of these characters. One of the cool things is that they share XP, collected weapons, and resources, but they have their own skill trees and their own gear. So I think that is spectacular because you don't have to worry too much about like leveling one up or the other. They'll have the same XP. Then the skill trees are unique to them and the gear as well. So then they have a mechanic here, which is my Metal Gear favorite, which is non lethal. You're taking someone down, but not taking them out. And this is more skill based players like myself who would want not to kill no one in the whole game. Try to beat the whole thing with minimal kills, no innocent deaths, and things like that. That it's nothing major, but it's a fun detail. And I love that. Like I said, stealth mechanics are really good. They, if it's lightning strikes when you use something that makes noise, nobody will hear it. You can do things like that that are gonna change the way you play. When it's winter, jump into the snow, but there's no more bushes. There's no more other places to hide, so you got to find something, use something different. Those dynamics are very special, and that's to me very important as a stealth player. Favorite genre is stealth, and it's important. So, yeah, that's what I got to say about that specifically. And, there's a lot more gameplay here. We'll just talk about what I really wanted to stress is looking at this game. I didn't care if it was an Assassin's Creed game. I'm interested in the scenario. Okay. You have a ninja and a samurai working together infiltrating these bases, and you're like, what is this game? If they didn't explain and they didn't say it was Assassin's Creed game, you would be hype about this. It just so happens to be Assassin's Creed game, so it makes me hype. I'll be honest. I would have want to play this regardless, but the fact that it's an Assassin's Creed game said, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm actually a big fan." So please do still good. And just to kind of clarify, I've never thought every Assassin's Creed game was the greatest. I never thought Assassin's Creed games would be game of the year. And I kind of feel like this game could end up game of the year. At least one of my personal favorites. I play hundreds of hours of Assassin's Creed games just because the open worlds are so big and there's so much. So I love it, but it doesn't mean that they're like the best games ever. It's a great series. I think it's one of the best and biggest. But I say that to say that 2024, when this game does release, it could be up there easily in my top 10. From the way the gameplay looks right now, I'm gonna enjoy myself thoroughly. And so, just to kind of touch on this controversy stuff, people have been trying to downgrade the game, talk trash about it, but they haven't talked about the game. It's always like, oh, there's a black samurai. Is Yahtzee really a real person? We want a documentary, not a video game. Oh, a female beating people up. Come on, man. That's not realistic. I don't know what the claims are that hurt the game. I don't see it. I mean, I see it. I hear what you're saying. For those that are going to be in my comments, I hear you, man. But I just think it's beyond embarrassing that people even entertain that, because the truth is it's not even close to a factor. It's like make a good game and that's it. You know, when I play Horizon Forbidden West, I'm not thinking that, oh, she's a redhead. Redheads would never beat up giant metal machines that look like a T Rex that shoot lasers and bombs all over the place. And she's going to kill it with a bow and arrow and a spear. Old technology. Like, I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking, wow, this is probably one of the greatest looking graphics, Horizon Forbidden West. And this gameplay is so much fun. I had a really good time with that game. And, preference is fine. If you say you don't really like the stealth, or maybe you don't like the samurai, or that's fine. But I just think it's outrageous. And I'm not going to really address this much anymore. I want to focus on the good parts, but I did want to kind of stress it to my community about actually looking at the game, bro. Like, just look at this game. If I watched this cutscene, I didn't know it was Assassin's Creed game. I'm like, yo, that game looks fire, bro. Can't wait to play it. I play Ghost of Tsushima, Rise of Ronin. You play Sekiro. You play all these games, hack and slash, and different things like that, and you're like, wow, this could be special. So that's my opinion. Of course, this game hasn't released. We only got one official gameplay trailer and a cool cinematic one. I do like what I saw, and I think that you got to be real about all this and take that time and look carefully at what we got now. Now, I'll say this, I am doing a giveaway for this game specifically because I'm hyped and I want whoever is hyped to enjoy it. Understand, I'm not telling nobody to pre-order it or buy the special editions. As I said in one of my previous videos, like, you have to look at yourself and say, am I going to enjoy this? Am I going to waste $70 on whatever game? Never mind this game. Is this something I'm interested in? And then you buy what you feel, right? Maybe you're like, hey, I'm not really into this. I'd rather play a puzzle game, right? Or Pokemon Go. Like, nobody's holding you, man. Like, go do your thing. And my videos are mainly just sharing my excitement, engaging with you guys, vibing, and having a good time with the game. This is a more calm and relaxed one. I actually just woke up and ate a little something and decided, let me make a video about my feelings when it comes to this game. So I'm grateful if you enjoyed that. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of stress the truth about it. But yeah, to kind of point it out, like, will this be game of the year? I mean, there's so many great games this year, but I think it can be a candidate. If the story is done great enough, it can be. And this is the main other point that's been on my head is the controversy. It's about conditioning, guys. Like, people have narratives and stigma, stereotypes, and things like that that they stick on to people. They stick it on to games and companies, and they'll try to persuade you into that as well. And maybe you never even heard of it, but once you start hearing it, it can affect you. And even me, that I stay positive and focusing on what I love and or enjoy, I don't allow it to affect me, but I do hear it even if I don't want to. Friends will be like, "Oh, it's a copy and paste game. Assassin's Creed, every Assassin's Creed is a copy and paste game." And I think it's so outrageous for them to say that. It's because they never played it. Because I played all of them and they're not all the same. And actually, I don't know if that would have been a good thing or bad thing, but you know, that's just a thing. And so I say that to kind of segue into opening your mind to not allow yourself to get shaken by these type of thoughts or feelings, and to actually really reassess everybody and everything, right? There's this stigma for IGN and like, oh, they don't. It's like they become so big that people kind of look at them in a funny way. And I don't know nothing about them, but I've also had that same stigma. Even with Ubisoft games, right? Whether it's Assassin's Creed or Far Cry, people will throw that copy and paste. And it's like, is it really? I don't know about Far Cry, so I can't talk, but haven't played it. And maybe I haven't played it because of that stigma, right? I recently played it in 2024. My first time ever was Far Cry 6. I only played a couple hours, but yeah, that was the only game I tried. And then as far as Assassin's Creed, I played all of them, so I actually know the truth, and I'm not being influenced by this narratives. So hopefully, I can break you free from that narrative, and then you can just gain perspective from this video, and it guides you to make your choice, and hopefully, you figure it out. But with that being said, I do have a giveaway. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll pick winners all the way up until release. We're going to be announcing winners on our videos, so make sure you stay tuned. And then let me know what you're feeling and what you're thinking about this. It's interesting to me, and it actually gets more and more interesting as more gets revealed. So super exciting. See you guys in the comments. Peace. Oh, by the way, I have some more breakdowns that should be popping up right now. Hey man, thank you for watching. Peace.